Welcome to another book discussion in my car. Today I'm listening to No Self, No Problem by Anam Tubten. And it's a book about Buddhism, or so I thought, which is why I picked it up. And it rubbed me the wrong way right out of the gate. In the introduction, he starts talking about pure consciousness and how it's the ultimate aim to arrive at one's true nature, which is pure consciousness. And this consciousness is the highest thing in the universe. There is nothing more divine than your true, authentic, pure consciousness. And I was like, okay, I guess this is not a book about Buddhism, because that's not what the Buddha talked about. And I started taking some pretty critical notes, started tearing it apart, but I never gave up on a book. I always keep my mind open because I've learned a lot, even from books that I thought were terrible. Either the author has taught me something or related something to me that I wasn't aware of, or I have an insight because of what the author says. So even though the information wasn't that good, it triggered something in me that I can relate to others, so there's value. But once he got through the introduction, it became a book about Buddhism again, and it's like, wait a minute, because there's a lot of contradictions. He talks about the Buddha giving up all illusions, but then he's talking about this pure, eternal consciousness that's the highest thing ever, which your ego loves to hear. So who is he writing this book for? Your ego, or yeah, I guess it's your ego. There is no or. He's writing it for your ego because it wants to be experienced and seen as pure consciousness. Anyway, there's some really profound insights in this book when he gets back into Buddhism. And he talks about letting go of identity, letting go of ego. And I like the way he describes a lot of things, but I just got through another section. I'm about an hour and 20 minutes into the book, and pure consciousness has come back in, and it's like, oh, come on, haven't we already gotten rid of that? Do we still need that? Can't we just have these really profound insights that are practical and grounded? I guess not. I guess he's thinking he's going to lose his audience, so he's got to give him another hit of pure consciousness. All right, I'm going to head up into the studio. I've got a couple hundred notes to label, and I'm going to process the notes I just recorded about this book, sit with them, write about them, do some elliptical, and then I'm going to head up to our local Nordic ski area, Prospect Mountain, and get some skate skiing in, which I've been doing for the past couple days. And that is a fascinating reintroduction to something that was such a huge part of my life. My goal in my teens was to be an Olympian in Nordic skiing, and didn't happen. My best friend, who I grew up with, trained with, he went on to become a two-time Olympian in biathlon, which is skiing and shooting. But I quit. I gave up when I was 19 or 20 because of depression. I just couldn't train. I wouldn't do it. Couldn't get myself out of bed. He would often come over to my house and drag me out of bed and make me train. But then, he wasn't always there, and he got tired of doing it. So I stopped, and here I am again, now skiing decades after being a skier. And it's amazing how my body remembers what to do. It's a very, very technically complex sport. It's all about balance and weight shift and trust. You've got to trust that when you shift your weight over one leg that you're not going to fall and crash into a tree. You've got to trust that you're going to be stable on that ski. And I still have that balance, and that just blows my mind that after 23 years, 1997, almost 24 years. That's when I stopped skiing. I was a coach. I stopped racing when I was 20, but I coached until I was maybe 28 or 29. Anyway, the balance is there. The form is there. The fitness is different than running fitness, different than slogging fitness. My arms, I've really got to develop arm endurance, lats, core, triceps, forearms. There's a totally different sport now. It's become much more of a power sport than it was when I did it. So I'm watching people and then deliberately practicing what I see them do, trying to embody their physical motions. What does it feel like to hold the poles like that? What does it feel like to compress my body onto the poles? What does it feel like to have that kind of tempo and have my hips in that position? So it's a really neat, deliberate practice experience. And I love that. I love just falling into practicing like that, rather than just going up there and trying to get a workout. That's not what I'm doing at all. Anyway, I'll show you some footage of me skiing. If you don't know what skate skiing looks like, it's a blast. All right, off to work. See you in a bit. Blue sky and snow. Can't wait to get up there. Oh boy. Often when we engage in something that requires a lot of skill development, we think about the particular goal in the short-term future. Say, I want to win a particular race this winter. One of the things that we don't consider when we put in a great deal of deliberate practice is how that's going to turn into a lifelong skill set that you'll be able to use decades down the road. Again, 23 years ago, I stopped skiing. I stopped training, and my body responds to it as if I never took the skis off. I just did 6 miles, and it's tiring, but I'm having a blast out there. And now I'm thinking, man, maybe I should get back into racing. But the trick is not to celebrate me now, but to celebrate the guy that did all the work, that put in the deliberate practice. My ancestor, Tim, of the 80s and 90s, he did the work. And because he did that work, I can now enjoy a beautiful day of skiing without falling all over myself. So whenever you're engaged in something that requires skill development, don't look at the short-term future. Look way off in the distance and think how you might be able to utilize that skill decades from now, even if you stop using it in between. As long as you train your brain and your body enough, as long as you put in the time, the so-called 10,000 hours, which give or take about 5,000, it'll be there with you for life. So get out there, find something that you want to get good at, put in the time, and then enjoy it for the rest of your life. All right, I'm off. See ya!